Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Ned over at My Philippine Dreams here in the city of Dumaguete, the city of gentle people on the island of Negros Oriental. I'm actually doing two videos on the same day, so if you see me wearing the same clothes, that's why. And speaking of clothes, you don't realize it, but I'm actually in my underwear right now because it's hot in the Philippines, even during rainy season. All right, let's just do a quick update about me and my medical condition. Things with the family. I know we haven't been doing a whole lot of videos, but things, we got a family going on. We got a 10-month-old requiring a lot of attention. I got some certain medical issues going on, which are causing some pain. And those are all the excuses that I am willing to offer at this point as to why we haven't been putting up a lot of videos. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is the vaccines against the dreaded malady. People have been asking, a couple of people commented asking the question, are vaccinations being given out in Dumaguete? The answer to that is yes. And before I go on, I just wanted to give a quick shout out. I wanted to give quick props and quick recognition and appreciation to all the medical frontliners and support staff that are at the barangay halls 5 to 6 days a week, lining people up and getting these vaccinations out. I was actually able to get my first vaccination this past Tuesday. I actually noted it on my Facebook and, of course, a whole bunch of people, because this is all politically charged. You're either on one side or the other when it comes to these vaccinations and the dreaded malady itself. A lot of it seems to be political, but I posted it up on my Facebook and noted that, and people were asking, what type of vaccine did you get? I got the Sinovac, which is the Coronavac, which is made in China. And basically, you have to confront the hand that is dealt with you. And Sinovac right now in the Philippines is the only vaccination that is available. Some people are getting lucky. They're getting the AstraZeneca. When I get back to the United States, and 30 days from my first shot, my first jab, I am going to get my second jab. And then about 30 to 45 days after that, I am going to the United States. Now, I wanted to get my jabs, even if it's just the Sinovac, which isn't as effective as some of the other Myrna vaccinations, before I went back to the United States, because I spend a lot of time with family while I'm in the U.S. Basically freeloading off of them. Thank you very much. So I wanted to make sure that I was protected before I went back there. Even though they've had their vaccines and stuff, I still don't want to risk it. Now, once I get back to the United States, I plan on getting a jab, probably the Myrna, because the Sinovac is a whole virus vaccination. There's different types of vaccinations. And things like Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, those are Myrna vaccinations. And actually in Thailand right now, they were going through a bad third wave. And they found out that combining a whole virus vaccination and then 30 days later giving a Myrna vaccination seems to be working really well, especially when it comes to the Delta and Lambda variants that are going around. So when I get back to the United States, I've already called Walmart. I called Walmart because I expected all kinds of, hoops that I would have to jump through. And basically the lady, it was down in Florida, and she said, hello. And I said, yes, I'd like to get the COVID vaccination. What kind of residency requirements? What kind of ID do I need? And she was like, honey, you don't need anything. Just come on in. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. And then, of course, beggars being choosers, I'm like, what kind of vaccinations do you have available there? And she's like, honey, we got everything. All you got to do is show up. You don't have to, make an appointment. You don't have to do anything, but just bring your warm body in here and we'll give you the jabs. So that was encouraging. So I'll get that when I get back to the United States. As I noted in one of my previous videos, Dumaguete has been dealing with some pretty bad COVID situations here. We just got taken off MECQ, which was a modified enhanced community quarantine, and we are back on ECQ, which means that restaurants, bars, social establishments like that are able to operate at a limited capacity. They're able to do takeout and all that. And at this point, I think it's only like 10% or 20% capacity for people that are actually dining in, if you want to risk it. I also found out this past week that somebody I knew personally, I used to go to her store all the time, and I still do. It just reopened. But back in May, they closed down. Everybody's got their favorite local store that they go to get whatever. For me, it was a place, it was like a 7-Eleven. I'll call it Kmart. It's not really called Kmart, but we'll call the store Kmart. And I used to pick up Magnum ice creams there. Every night, usually I'd swing by. That's why we've all gained weight here during the pandemic. I'd swing by and would get some of those delicious and nutritious Magnum ice creams. Those are, I think, the best ice cream in the Philippines. They're delicious. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, they shut down in May, and they just reopened. I went in there, and come to find out, 4 members of the family had contracted the dreaded malady, and one of them had passed away. So that's how serious this is. I know a number of people personally who have gotten the dreaded malady, who have been hospitalized, who have been put on respirators, intubated. I know 2 people at least that have tried to travel outside the Philippines, come up positive for COVID, been hospitalized, been intubated, and all that stuff. Thankfully, they all recovered, and they are back in the United States. But again, I don't want to get into the politics of this. I also have a family. I have a wife. I have a 10-month-old kid. And it's kind of important for me to stay alive so that I can take care of them. The Sinovac, the Coronavac, the Chinavac, whatever you want to call it, again, it's not as effective as some of the other vaccines, but it does have an excellent record when it comes to death and serious hospitalizations requiring respirators, intubation, and that. So as in this case, something is better than nothing. All right, one more thing I have to talk about real quick. Back in May, I went and got an MRI done because I've been having shoulder blade pain for a long time, for actually years now. It comes and goes, it comes, it goes. And over the past year, it's gotten worse and worse, up to the point where right now it's excruciating, and I'm pretty good with pain. You can ask my family. I've actually broken bones and not complained about it. I've gone to school with broken bones when I was a kid. So I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but it's so bad right now that it's literally driving me to my knees at some points. You know, you hear that saying, driven to your knees by the pain. I'm actually experiencing that. This is worse than when I broke my back in 2015, I believe, and herniated my L5-S1, still dealing with that pain, but this is a lot worse. So I went and got the MRI done, and the clinical impressions, I'll just read this real quick. Cervical spondylosis, as described above. And a lot of people get cervical and lumbar spondylosis. This happens a lot because we are primates and we're not really designed to be sitting in office chairs and doing certain things. So a lot of people have to deal with this. Greatest degree of involvement is at C6, C7, followed by C5, C6. Further detailed above. Of note, there is a right paracentral and right foraminal disc protrusion at C6, C7, causing severe right neuroforaminal stenosis and presumably compressing the exiting right C7 nerve root. So yeah, and there's also a little bit to the left because sometimes my left shoulder blade has been having pain, but right now it's all on the right shoulder blade. It's actually difficult to work my mouse on my desk and just driving on my scooter. Actually, we're taking a trip tomorrow, but it's going to be in the car, so that'll be nice. Because when I have to put my hands forward like this, that's where the real pain causes. So, and I have no choice in this. I was going to put this off until I went back to the United States because of reasons. But on Tuesday, I am planning on getting an epidural steroid injection into my C6, C7. I've already seen the doctor here about it. He says that he's done a number of these without any bad side effects. I had an ESI done into my spine by a Dr. Richard Condor in Cebu back in 2015, and it worked really well. Matter of fact, the pain relief was instantaneous as soon as I stepped off the operating table. They're going to use a fluoroscope to guide the needle into my neck. Now, I have severe phobias when it comes to needles. I hate needles. I've hated needles ever since I've been a kid. I'm like, if you've seen the South Park episode where Cartman's mom tries to bring him to get his vaccinations, and he strips himself naked, he covers himself in baby oil, squeals like a pig, and runs away, and they can't catch him. That's basically me. I hate needles. So for me to be doing this here, I don't have like simple apprehension about it. I'm not nervous about it. I'm actually scared about it. Hopefully, he said he's going to give me something before the operation. They're not going to put me under. I would actually prefer to be put under, truth be told, but they're not going to put me under. So I got to do this. So when you see this video, I'm actually going to be auto posting this like on a Sunday or a Monday. So I'll be getting it the next day. So hopefully everything will go well. I can't wait to go back to the United States. I mean that literally and figuratively. I have to get this done because the pain is so bad. I asked him if we could do it this past Friday, which was yesterday, but he was unable to do it because of his schedule. So we have a schedule for Tuesday. On Monday, I have to go to get a COVID test because in order to go into the hospital for any type of treatment like that, you have to get a COVID test. So I got to get a rapid antibody test. That's going to be 1,400 pesos. The injection itself is going to be about 15,000 pesos, which is only like 300 bucks. It's not a whole lot of money. And that's before my half price discount for being a member of that hospital. It sounds like kids are at the front gate wanting to get our mangoes again. So wish me luck on that. I just wanted to do a quick medical update. I know I don't talk about like personal stuff a lot, but if you've experienced this, basically what's happening is my C7 is being compressed, and it's compressing the nerve, and it's sending a signal to my shoulder blade, the muscle over my shoulder blade, to clench up. So that muscle is constantly clenched up. As a matter of fact, when Chichai massages it, you can feel it. It's like a knot. It just goes up and down and pops and pops. It's horrible. And like I said, at some point, it's driven me to my knees. I'm not going to beat that dead horse. But I got to do this, and so wish me luck. And that's basically all I have to say at this point. Puppies, rainbows, unicorns, and 4-inch needles going into your neck to all. See you next time on My Philippine Dreams. Next videos will be a little more positive and uplifting. We're actually going to a resort tomorrow. Take the family because Chichai and the baby need to get out of the house. So we'll do some videos while we're down there. See you next time on My Philippine Dreams. Bye.
Hey, if you consider our work to be of any value, consider supporting us on Patreon. If you're a Patreon, you get a free copy of my ebook, and we do monthly Google Hangouts. So consider doing that, if you would please.